Hey there, fantasy owners. LTC Fantasy here. Not sure if you're chiming in watching via YouTube or listening via podcast, but really do appreciate the watch or listen no matter how you're streaming the episode. Before we get started, do want to mention we got a new partnership with 247clash.com. Link is in the description there. It's a pool style player versus player fantasy points game there that is pretty much made winnable for anyone there. It's fun and easy to play, and if you go to www.247clash.com and you'll see a how to play link at the top of the homepage, click on that short 49-second video there on explains the game a little bit better there. And if you do decide to sign up and make a deposit, do use referral code LTC, as that'll help support this show and hopefully you win some cash there. Do remember it is for Canadian residents only at this time. That might change in the future, but for right now it's for Canadian residents only. So today's our Week 18 midweek waiver wire episode. So we'll look at some lower ownership goalies, defensemen, and forwards that are either on hot streaks right now or gaining some opportunity due to injuries, etc. That'll hopefully help strengthen your fantasy roster, not only for this week, but future weeks as well. So basically, we'll get right into it. First one is over in Anaheim. Look at John Gibson, owned in 40% of Yahoo leagues. He has 3 wins in his last 7 starts, so a hair under 500 there. But he's had over a 900 save percentage in 5 of his last 8 starts there. So not the greatest numbers, but he is playing better of late. So if you're in a pinch and need a little bit of goaltending, he does start quite a few games, might be able to help you out there. Over in Buffalo, look at Ukko-Pekka Laukkanen, owned in 36% of Yahoo leagues. He's started 8 of the last 11 games, and in there he's 500, won 4 of those 8 starts there. He's starting a lot and winning some around 500 there, so as a third goalie option, he could be all right. The last one's over in LA. Look at Phoenix Copley, owned in 46% of Yahoo leagues. He has 5 wins in his last 6 starts, a ton of wins there. One of those being a shutout there. He's getting W's, and he's of late. LA has been on kind of a roll right now, and he has been playing well, getting the majority of the starts. He'd definitely be a very strong pickup if you can get him. Should mention, just because Anton Forsberg went down and Talbot's not quite ready yet, maybe look at Matt Sogard, but that's only if you're in a real deep league where there isn't some better options available for you. Before we do get into the next segment, do want to ask you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, as we're trying to grow it here. Hopefully you're getting some value out of these episodes. Hopefully it's helped strengthen your fantasy roster and securing some wins for you there. Now we'll get into some defensemen to maybe take a peek at. And first one off the list is Jalen Chatfield over in Carolina, owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on the second pairing there, he has 7 points his last 10 games, so pretty good production. Also a plus 13 in those 10 games. He is getting production, as I mentioned there, 7 points, 10 games, pretty good there. He really does like being paired with Burns. It seems to have really taken off his production some. So in a deep scoring league, he might be an okay depth D-man for you. Over in Anaheim, look at John Klingberg, owned in 39% of Yahoo leagues. Playing second pairing, second power play unit there. He has 5 points the last 4 games. In those 4 games, he has 4 hits and 7 blocks there. He's been better of late, and we know his track record, what he's done in past season, hasn't quite gone the way he wanted to in Anaheim. But with his track record, he could be an okay depth piece going forward there. Another one over in Boston, possibly look at Matt Grzelcyk, owned in 9% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top pairing there. He has 7 points his last 11 games, and in those 11 games he's plus 12, also has 15 blocks, nice amount of blocks there. He's been decent offense of late there, in a deeper league, maybe even a deeper catch league, could provide some okay depth. Over in Colorado, look at Samuel Girard, owned in 18% of Yahoo leagues, playing top pairing, second power play unit there. He has 6 points his last 6 games, with 16 shots on goal and 17 blocks. He's been good the last couple of weeks. Now with Makar out with a head injury there, it's going to gain even more opportunity. Could be a very decent depth add for you going forward there. Over in Columbus, look at Adam Boquist, owned in 6% of Yahoo leagues, playing top pairing, top power play unit. He has 5 points the last 7 games, and I am recording this on Tuesday, seeing he already has a goal and an assist tonight, so that's even better than what I'm stating. 2 of those points being on the power play, 12 shots on goal. He's had pretty decent production, be a nice D-man in a deeper scoring league for sure for you. Over in Toronto, look at Mark Giordano, owned in 25% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing for the Leafs there. He has 6 points his last 10 games. And in those 10 games, he's also +6, 26 shots on goal, and 19 blocks. He's decent, not great in most categories, but decent in most of them there. He'd be an okay depth piece in a Cats league. Over in Calgary, look at Noah Hannafin, owned in 57% of Yahoo leagues, playing top pairing, second power play unit there. He has 7 points his last 8 games, and in those 8 games, he's +6. One of those points being on the power play, 21 shots on goal and 8 blocks in those 8 games. He's on a nice roll of late, and he's been pretty good in most categories for most of the season. His offense has really dropped, but the other categories have still been there, that he should be a depth D-man in a Cats league. Next one is Keandre Miller for the Rangers there, owned in 53% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, second power play unit there. He has 4 points in his last 3 games. In those 3 games, also +6, thrown 13 hits in those 3 games, so definitely throwing the body around there. Also has 3 blocks in there, so a block per game. His offense is a bit streaky, but he is good in pretty much every other category there. So he'll be a pretty good depth D-man in a Cats league for sure. Next one I put down was Jake Sanderson, but then he got put on IR there, so just ignore him because we don't quite know how long he's going to be out for. Over in Buffalo, look at Owen Power, owned in 49% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, second power play unit. He's been pointless the last 4 games, but he had points in the previous four straight there. So with being young, inconsistency usually is an issue. He shows that, but he could be a good add because there is offensive potential there in a deep scoring league, or if you're in a keeper league and you're looking towards next year because you're kind of lower in the standings. Another one is Adam Pelech for the Islanders, owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues, playing top pairing for the Islanders there. He has 3 points his last 5 games with 7 hits and 11 blocks. He's okay hits and blocks pretty much all season there. His offense is kind of hit or miss, but in a deeper Cats league, that's where you're going to find some value for him, and you'll get some decent depth value out of him. Last one is in St. Louis. Look at Torrey Krug, owned in 60% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, top power play unit there, and he has 4 points the last 5 games, a couple of them being on the power play. Also 15 shots on goal, so 3 shots a game. That's pretty high for a D-man. 12 blocks in there also. He's been really good since coming back from injury, and he'll be a nice depth piece if he's available in your leagues there. Moving along to some forwards to possibly look at for depth piece. Look at Philip Chittell for the Rangers, listed as center right winger, owned in 49% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, second power play unit. He has 9 points his last 7 games, and in those 7 games, he's also +6 and has 20 shots on goal. He's been about as hot as it gets, so if he is available, do add him if you can get him there. Next one over in Tampa, look at Alex Killorn, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 24% of Yahoo leagues, played second line, second power play unit. He has 11 points his last 12 games, a couple of those points being on the power play there. He's been pretty good the last little while there. His offensive numbers are up, so if you're in a scoring league, he could definitely provide some depth for you. For Vancouver, maybe look at Brock Besser, listed as a right winger, owned in 47% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, second power play unit there. He has 7 points his last 6 games, so over a point per game. A couple of those points being on the power play with 12 shots on goal and 9 hits. He's been producing and getting a bit more ice time with Horvat moving out, etc. there. So he'll be an all-right depth piece, especially in deeper leagues there. For Boston, maybe look at David Krejci, listed as a center, owned in 36% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit there. He has 11 points over the last 10 games. Also in those 10 games, he's +7, also has 8 blocks. That's a lot of blocks for a forward there. He's been really consistent most of the season, offensively especially. Be a good depth add in most formats. Over in Anaheim, look at Adam Henrique, listed as center left winger, owned in 19% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top line, top power play unit there. He has 10 points the last 11 games there. Couple of those points being on the power play and 30 shots on goal. Definitely fires the puck on net there. He has a nice amount of offense, definitely shoots a lot. So he'll be good in a scoring league if he's available. Back to Boston, look at Pavel Zacha, listed as center, left wing, and right wing, owned in 24% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit for the Bruins there. He has 10 points his last 10 games, and in those 10 games, he's also a +6, 21 shots on goal, and throws the body a little bit, 12 hits in those 10 games. He's versatile because he's listed as center, left winger, right winger, can slot him anywhere in your forward ranks there. And he's been pretty good, so especially in deeper scoring leagues, possibly a deeper Cats leagues, could provide some depth value. In Philly, look at Kevin Hayes, listed as center left winger, owned in 50% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit there, and he has 10 points his last 11 games. And in those 11 games, 3 of those points are being on the power play and 36 shots on goal. His offense has been there pretty much all season long there, so definitely in scoring leagues, if he's available, grab him. He'll definitely provide some nice depth for you. Possibly in a deep Cats leagues, you might be able to squeak it out and get, well, you'll definitely get offensive value. Just the other Cats aren't quite as high. There might be a little bit better options for you, but Hayes is having a really good season overall. Over in Calgary, maybe look at Blake Coleman, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 16% of Yahoo leagues. Plays third line there. He's hot. 7 points his last 5 games, and in those 5 games, he's a +7, has 17 shots on goal and 6 hits. He's on a nice little roll and could be a good add in deeper leagues. Over in Winnipeg next, look at Blake Wheeler, listed as a right winger, owned in 48% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit there, and he has 10 points the last 7 games, so pretty good. +5 in those 7 games, 3 of those points being on the power play. He's hot right now, and he's been producing most of the year. If he's available, definitely add him. You should definitely be happy with the ad. Going back to Calgary, look at Michael Backlund, listed as a center, owned in 18% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line on the top power play unit right now, and he has 9 points his last 8 games. Oh, excuse me. Should have had a nap before recording this, but 9 points the last 8 games. In those 8 games, he's +9, had 20 shots on goal and 12 hits there. He's been solid for a while and be a good depth add, especially in a Cats league for you. Over in Buffalo, look at Victor Olofsson, listed as a right winger, owned in 19% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line on that second power play unit for the Sabres. He has 9 points his last 10 games, 2 of those points being on the power play, and 27 shots on goal. He's on a nice little run and will definitely provide some depth in scoring leagues. Over in Montreal, maybe look at Kirby Dach, listed as center right winger, owned in 28% of Yahoo leagues, on the second line, top power play unit there, and he has 9 points his last 10 games. And of those 9 points, 3 have been on the power play, and also in those 10 games, he has 22 shots on goal, 12 hits, and 13 blocks there. He's been decent in most Cats. Season's been a little bit streaky, but for the most overall, pretty good there. So he'll be really good in a deeper Cats league. Over in Vancouver, look at Andrei Kuzmenko, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 51% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit. He has 9 points his last 12 games, and in those 12 games, he has 23 shots on goal. He's cooled off a little bit, but still 9 points in the last 12 is pretty good there. When he does get points, he gets them in bunches there. So as a depth add in a scoring league, that's where you're going to get the most value out of him. Over in Seattle, look at Jared McCann, listed as center left winger, owned in 36% of Yahoo leagues. Up on the top line, top power play unit there. He has 10 points the last 12 games. Of those 10 points, 3 have been on the power play and 33 shots on goal there. He's been fairly solid overall there. He's a bit streaky, but for deeper leagues, he could provide some nice depth. Over in San Jose, look at Logan Couture, listed as a center, owned in 47% of Yahoo leagues. Playing second line, top power play unit there. He has 9 points his last 10 games, so pretty darn good, almost a point per game. And in those 10 games, he has 29 shots on goal, 20 hits, 6 blocks. He's been pretty much good in every category except for plus minus. If you're in San Jose, your plus minus is probably hurting overall, but he'll be a great add in a Cats league. Back to Seattle, look at Oliver Bjorkstrand, listed as right winger, owned in 10% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, second power play unit there, and he has 7 points his last 7 games with 13 shots on goal and 4 blocks in those 7 games. He's finally producing some. We've kind of been waiting all season for it. You knew he was better than what he has been. Probably not a point per game player finishing out the season, but he is starting to get some consistency in his game. So in a deeper league, he should be okay depth going forward. Over in New Jersey, look at Andre Palat, listed as a left winger, owned in 27% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit there, and he has 10 points his last 10 games. And in those 10 games, he's a +7, has a couple of power play points, 20 hits and 15 blocks there. He's been really good the last while here and should be a nice add in most formats going forward. Going back to Calgary, look at Andrew Mangiapane, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 37% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, second power play unit there, and he has 9 points his last 11 games, and in those 11 games also +9, 31 shots on goal, also throws the body around a bit, 14 hits in those 11 games. He's been decent offensively for a little while now here, so with that, maybe not quite the form we've seen last year, but he's been more consistent of late. In deeper scoring leagues, could provide some nice value, even deeper Cats leagues since he's throwing the body around a bit and his plus minus and shots on goals fairly high there. Over for the Rangers, look at Capo Caco, listed as a right winger, owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, second power play unit, and he has 10 points his last 9 games, and of those 10 points, a couple have been on the power play there. The line is rolling, that third line for the Rangers right now, and it's been rolling for a while. He'll be a good add in a scoring league if you can get him. Over in Anaheim, look at Frank Vetrano, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 17% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit there, and he has 8 points his last 7 games, so over a point per game, and in those 7 games, +5, 28 shots on goal, really high shots on goal there in that short amount of time, also 8 blocks, so over a block per game over the last 7. So he's been turning it up recently, and still streaky, but he should be a nice add in your deeper leagues. For Arizona, maybe look at Nick Schmaltz, listed as center right winger, owned in 20% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit there, and he has 14 points his last 8 games, like crazy hot over the last 8, and in those 8 games, +7, and this is a Coyote with +7 over 8 games, 4 of those points being on the power play, 22 shots on goal, and 5 blocks. Basically, he's about as hot as it gets. Lower ownership, only 20% owned. So if he's available, grab him. You should be happy. For Chicago, maybe look at Jason Dickinson, listed as center left winger, owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top line right now, and he has 8 points his last 8 games, so nice little run. 14 hits in those 8 games and 10 blocks. He's getting opportunity on that top line, and he's running with it. He has been producing over the last 8. Still not a lot of runway, so if you're in a real deep league, that's where you're going to take a chance, and he should hopefully provide some nice depth for you. Over in Florida, look at Anton Lundell, listed as a center, owned in 24% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, second power play unit, and he has 9 points his last 12 games. couple of those points being on the power play. Also 23 shots and goal and 6 blocks in those 12 games. Not bad offense of late, a little bit streaky, but he has settled in on that top line there. So deeper leagues, especially deeper Cats leagues, you should get some nice value out of him. And the last one's over in Carolina. Look at Teuvo Teravainen, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 59% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit. He has 8 points his last 9 games. And of those 8 points, a couple have been on the power play and 17 shots on goal. He's been consistent for a while now. He had a really slow start, but definitely been picking it up the last while. So should be a nice depth add in scoring leagues. That's it for today's episode. If you're watching via YouTube, remember to hit like, hit subscribe, remember that notification bell. If you're listening via podcast, hit that heart, hit follow, hit subscribe, depending what platform you're watching it on. Don't forget to check out www.247clash.com. If you do decide to sign up and hopefully win some cash, remember to use referral code LTC. That'll really help support this show. And we'll talk to you soon. We'll be out in a bit with another episode. And yeah, good luck there, fantasy owners.